You do not take a 900-pound bike into any sort of sand.
Join us for the ride of a lifetime.
Let's watch an idiot try to ride a motorcycle. Some guy rides.
Okay, dudes. I just stopped in a parking lot to unfreeze my piece of crap GoPro. I mean, can't somebody just make an action cam that works? There's just no good options. Anyway, I'm in Biltmore Village, close to my house, and I'm gonna hop on the highway for a little bit, and then I'll probably get on back roads after that. But I am going to meet my wife in Pawleys Island, South Carolina, at her family. Her family started this, like, they buy properties, and like mostly they buy like beach houses and rent them out, and they have done really well doing that. They started in Sullivan's Island. Anyway, they've got a good business going, and they're letting us stay at one of their houses for free, which is pretty awesome. And the house is just like, it's sick. It's a sick house. I'll show it to you. But anyway, so cool. We get a little vacation, even though I gotta do some work while we're there, but that's okay. Let me catch you up. I went on a big filming trip. It's like 2.5 weeks. I went to Pittsburgh, Brooklyn, somewhere in Michigan, somewhere in Idaho City, Milwaukee, which is cool, man. I haven't been there in a long time, and that city is cool. And then a few things in Chicago, and it was a successful trip. But that means I have a year's worth of content to edit for our website. So I've got a lot to do. And what else? Oh, this was supposed to be a sort of test run. This company asked me to review a product, and I don't get those requests very often, so I get excited when I might get something free. And they did send me the thing for free. It's like it's a motorcycle AirPlay thing, so you can run apps on it from your phone wirelessly, supposedly. And it's got Apple AirPlay and also Android Auto, I think it's called. Anyway, here, I'll show you some footage from the review that you'll never see. I'm so sick of editing video in this windowless cage. Wait, what's that? Package! So this is a carpoo ride. What a piece of shit. So I was excited to do this review, and I was excited to like the thing, but unfortunately it was a piece of crap, and it didn't work at all, and it was shitty. And I emailed the person. I'm like, dude, I'm so sorry, but I cannot recommend this to anyone, and send me a shipping label and I'll ship it back to you. Because a free turd is still a turd. I have a feeling the more reviews I do, the more companies will contact me to do them, which is cool. I mean, everybody likes to get free shit, dudes. But alas. So that's it for that. The Goldwing is my #1 love right now. I mean, I've ridden the red Honda a little bit. I haven't ridden the Royal Enfield at all since I've gotten this. I thought the CT 125 would feel silly after this, but it really doesn't. I mean, it's of course it's different, but it wasn't weird. And I've been doing tons of work on the RV after that trip. On those trips, I always make a list of all the shit that goes wrong, and those things, man, they're just always needing something. It's a rolling house. It's got all the same systems as your house: plumbing, electrical, whatever else, heat, air, all the shit, all the same shit you have to deal with at your house, except this stuff is made to be very light, or as light as possible, which equals flimsy in some cases. So, and plus you're rolling down the road, everything's moving. It's like, it's a stupid idea. An RV is a really stupid idea, but it's also awesome. I love the thing. So anyway, I did a bunch of work on that. And the TMB series is over. I just uploaded the packing video, and that's the last of that series. And I don't know what's going to go on with that channel. It's only gotten 500 subs so far, which I really thought I'd hit 1,000 with this series, because it's not bad. It's pretty good. But, you know, the algorithm, whatever. It's hard to figure out. But anyway, I'm loving the wing. That last ride I did, I think I filmed it sort of East Tennessee, up Johnson City way. I mean, dude, it's just so fun. I don't know what to say. I really like it. As long as you're going over 4 miles an hour, it's golden. Under 4 miles an hour, it's kind of a nightmare, I'll admit. And I thought today was going to be nice. It's not. I got all my rain gear on because it's coming. That's okay, though. That's okay. This is going to be a nice long ride. It's 5 hours by car, and it'll probably be 6.5 hours the way I'm going to go. And I'm psyched, dudes. I'm psyched. I'm on a motorcycle. Update on Johnny Powell, even though this is like 2 years after the fact, but he started his PT. He says it really sucks, but he's going to do it because that's what's going to solve it. He's starting to get back some range of motion, and he's still not back to work yet, but soon. And that's all the news I got about that. I'm actually going to see him because him and his wife and the same people, Dan and Joel, who came to Blowing Rock, are going to meet us at the beach and hang out. So that'll be cool. And my big trip for the summer is still looking like New Mexico and Colorado. So we'll see if that happens or not. I think it's gonna. I think it's gonna. Alright, I'll talk to you again if there's something to say, and or when we hit the back roads. You know what the worst thing about the Goldwing is? Traffic like this where you have to go 4 miles an hour and constantly stop. And stopping is where I'm gonna fall. That's just how it's gonna go. It hasn't happened yet, but it's gonna. It's gonna. Because I've been close many times. So maybe this will be it. How embarrassing that's gonna be. I'm preparing for it. And you know, on the other bikes, I never listen to anything. Never. Ever. Maybe maybe a podcast on the way home from a ride, you know what I mean? Or something. But usually I listen to nothing. No music, no podcasts, no audiobooks. But on the wing, just because it has the ridiculous stereo, I've been jamming out. I don't listen to much music, to be honest, which I should. I mean, I'm into music, but just for the longest time, I just don't listen to it. And I don't know why. Sometimes I go on little runs, like I had that Lee Hazelwood run where I was just obsessed. Now I'm obsessed with, there's a couple of bands that have floated by on Instagram. Dury is one. They've got one really catchy song, and I love the dude's voice, and I love the production. It's like super compressed 90s style on his voice, and I dig it. And they're like a brother-sister team. And then there's one, did I say what they're called? They're called Dury. And then there's one called Hey Nothing, and they've got this song called Maine, or I Left My Lungs in Maine, or something like that. And it's just this beautiful song, and their harmonies, they're not like X, the band X, who have some of the craziest harmonies of all time. They don't make any sense, yet they make complete sense. They're just so odd, and only someone who wasn't like trained in music could come up with it, because it's so awesome. And this band's harmonies are the same. They're just like, they're not normal harmonies, like they're not the normal thing you would do, and they're so good. And the song is just, it's lovely. It's lovely. Good lyrics. And I don't know, man, I'm so into seeing these bands that are just like garage bands, or like, you know, for fun bands, or I don't know how serious they are. Maybe these people have marketing firms behind them. I don't know. But what I like to believe is that they're just sort of garage bands who have figured out how to use social media to their advantage, and they're getting huge. Like, they're getting huge listens on Spotify, huge, you know, views on Instagram Reels and YouTube and like all that stuff, and they're building their own audience, and it's freaking awesome. I so wish that my band was going now instead of when it was going in the 90s, because I would have been good at this shit, man. I would have been good at it. I would have had a freaking daily touring vlog that would have been incredible, because we did so many stupid and insane things and got into so many weird situations, and it was interesting, man. I did have like a blog, even though there was no such thing as blogs then, but and that was pretty interesting, and people liked that because it told the tales of madness in a very honest way. But man, if it was today, I would be killing it. I'm telling you. Maybe not, but just give it to me. I mean, is it any skin on your nose if I believe that? No, it's not. It doesn't hurt anything. So this traffic is bumming me out, and six, I won't get there till 4 at this rate. That's what Google says. I'm already on the back roads because I couldn't handle the traffic on the highway. Hopefully this goes away soon, although I think everybody's doing the same thing I'm doing. And I saw her face.
This is fucking awesome. She started
I need a kiss.
Dudes, how'd you like that medley? How many copyright strikes did I get? So I'm probably, I don't even know, oh, it says I'm 3 hours away, so I'm like halfway there. And cruising through the South Carolina back roads brings me back, man. When I lived in Columbia, I had a Honda Shadow 750. I think it was a 750 or a 700. I bought a 500 when I was 16, Shadow 500, and moved on up. After that one got wrecked because somebody turned left in front of me, coming the other way. Totaled the bike, scared the shit out of me, scared the shit out of my parents. And I see why John complains about South Carolina, because I don't know, these roads are cool, but they sure aren't Western North Carolina cool. I don't have anything against South Carolina. I'm just glad I don't live here. I'm sorry to those of you who love South Carolina. I loved it for many, many years. I think I was there for 7 years. At the time, that was the longest I'd been anywhere. And I liked Columbia. I was very set up there. I had a $225 a month apartment that was shitty but awesome. And I had a good time there. I really did. But it's too freaking hot, and Asheville's cooler. Sorry, Columbia. Has to be said. It's just true. It's not my fault. And we're getting close to Camden. And when I was in college at the University of South Carolina, I'm assuming it's still going on, but there's this huge horse race. Camden Downs, maybe it's called. I don't know. But all of the like preppy frat people and sorority people would get super dressed up and go out to this horse race, and it was just an excuse to drink, and they would all get completely hammered. And I want to say I might have gone out there one time, but I'm not sure. But dudes, the frat guys at that college, I don't know if it's like this throughout the South, but there was such a uniform. It was like Dockers, khaki pants, or worse, khaki shorts, and some kind of button-down, like print shirt, glasses with the little things on them so you could hang them on your neck, sunglasses, like goofy, stupid plastic sunglasses, and certain haircuts. And I'm sorry, I try not to be judgmental, but I hated those motherfuckers, every single one of them. I used to like to annoy them. I think I've mentioned this, but like, they always had huge parties, and so I wanted to go to those because it was free beer. And I had a friend who was in one, so I got to go to all those parties. But I would wear the stupidest shit just to annoy them. I mean, I had long hair. I know I've talked about this before, but I had a black lab coat that I stitched puffy sleeves into, like Seinfeld. And I would wear that and I had a dangly earring. Oh my god. Anyway, the point was I just wanted to annoy them and make them want to beat me up and throw me out. I don't know why that was my MO, but it was, and it often worked really well. Oh, but those dudes, I mean, there were some cool guys, I guess, that were in a frat, but it was few and far between. And for the most part, oh, they just sucked. They were just gross, man. I'm sorry fraternity dudes, I'm sorry. But you're probably, I'm not gonna keep going on this. Although, if there was ever a safe demographic to talk shit about, I would say fraternities are it. And the sororities weren't much better. They were a little better because they're women, but you know, it's just not my bag. I don't want to belong to a club that would have me, sort of thing. And my daughters, I really thought they might join a sorority, but neither one of them did. They're not into it either. I tried to stay neutral, but I think way before it was time for them to think about college, I was talking shit about the Greek system. That may have rubbed off on them a little bit somewhere back in the past. And I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry at all. I'm sorry if they missed something that they would have enjoyed, I guess. But I don't know. Not for me. Here's Camden, I think. I just stopped for gas. One thing about the Wing, it does not get good gas mileage at all. I'm at like 33 miles a gallon. That's not good. That's not good. And it doesn't have a range that you would think it would have either. I mean, I haven't run it bone dry, but it was at probably, I don't know, a little less than a quarter of a tank, and I had only put 178 miles. It doesn't seem right for a big, huge touring bike that you're supposed to ride for 8 hours a day. I don't know. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. I'm not sure about Goldwing videos. I mean, unless I'm riding somewhere super beautiful, like weirdly beautiful, or there's some sort of, I don't know. I just think this might be a little boring to watch. So maybe, I don't know, this might be the last Goldwing video. I just love this bike so much, though. I really do. It's quite awesome. But I'm psyched for a BDR type ride this summer. That will be cool.
Drugs and rock and roll.
Speaking of Iggy Pop, he came up the other day. I was passing through Pittsburgh, and we played there at some big place. It was like a stadium, but it was kind of in the parking lot. And it was called the Roar Tour. It was like a summer festival sort of thing, like Lollapalooza wannabe. And and Iggy Pop was the headliner. And I texted our old drummer Tony when I passed through. I'm like, dude, I just passed by the spot we played in Pittsburgh a million years ago. And he's like, oh yeah, that was the night that Iggy Pop broke his arm. And I had totally forgotten about that, but he was stage diving or something, and he totally just broke his arm. We all thought the tour was going to be over, which would have sucked because it took a lot to get us on that tour, and it was kind of a big deal for us. But anyway, Iggy being Iggy, put a cast on his arm and finished the tour. I kind of got to meet him at the, before the tour started, there was like a reception in Detroit. I guess it started in Detroit. And he was there, and I kind of met him, but not like... I don't have his phone number. I don't have his email address. I wish I did. He seems cool, man. He seems like a cool fella. And it definitely seems like he's Iggy Pop on stage, and he's James, whatever his name is, off stage. Well done, Iggy. Well done.
She's going out tonight, I'm drinking drugs. What's your name?
Let's talk about the Cars, man. Benjamin Orr, is that his name? Dude. I think most people thought that Rick Ocasek was like the man in that band, but he was not. Benjamin Orr was. Is it Benjamin Orr? I think so. Anyway, that guy was awesome. And that band, man, so good. Every one of them is just an amazing musician. Maybe not Rick Ocasek so much, but the guitar player, I don't know his name, but oh, he's so good. The keyboardist is pretty tasteful, doesn't overdo it. And the drummer's great. Man, their songs are so freaking good. That's an amazing band. Damn, that's a good band. And I've been wondering too, I've been searching for the Violent Femmes, that one record with all the songs on it. I mean, what's that record called? Dudes, that is a perfect record. There's nothing on it that's not good. It's so good. That band was so good. Why is there not... What I've been searching for is I want an in-depth documentary about the Violent Femmes, and there's not one that I've found. So if you know of one, let me know. But I want to know about those fellas. It's such an interesting band. I mean, around that time, that was just... That sound is just so original. When did they come out? 80s? Right? Something? It's just such an original sound. So good. And the dude's voice is great. That drummer's great. That bass player's great. I need to know more. I need to know where they came from. I feel like New York City, but I'm not sure about that at all. I could be wrong about that. Maybe they're from some Midwestern city. I don't know. If I could see a documentary, I would learn all that. Speaking of documentaries, have I talked about this? I went through a phase for a while. This was years ago. when I wanted to do a documentary for Liberty Mutual. Is it Liberty Mutual? Oh, I'm not sure. Now I can't remember. But the one where the people stand outside dressed as the Statue of Liberty. It must be Liberty. And there's some whack jobs who do that job. And I thought it would be really cool to get them to pay me to travel around and just interview some of these weirdos. And I got pretty far on that, surprisingly. Like, I just called them up. Was like, hey, who should I talk to? And they put me in touch with someone, and they were kind of interested. They thought it was an interesting idea, but it didn't work. It didn't happen. I mean, I'm not sure really. I'm not even sure why they were interested, because all it would have been is weirdos talking. It would have been so cool though. And I know I've talked about this before, but during that same phase I was in, I was really like, I think it was, this always happens when you're a freelancer or when you're self-employed. Whenever you're not doing so well financially, you decide that you need to be doing something else to make money. And these sort of things always come up when that's happening. like I was gonna make any money on the Liberty Mutual Statue of Liberty people project. But anyway, I don't know. But I also wanted to do a documentary on Mac Davis, who I've always thought was super cool, super interesting dude. And also he kind of looks like my dad. But I loved the Mac Davis show when I was a little kid. So good. And but I was thinking, because I don't think there are any. Like I've looked and there's not much out there about him. And he is really interesting. He had Elvis did a couple of his songs. I know I've talked about this before. Anyway, but my idea was I wanted to contact his people and pitch it, and it, you know, sort of like as a vanity project, but it would have been a real documentary, but they would have paid me for it, or to do it, and then they could own it, or whatever. I don't know. I didn't think through it too far, but I thought it really could work, because there should be a documentary about him, and if I think that, then he probably thinks that too. He's dead now, so it's too late, but I thought it was a good idea, and I would have been really into it. But no dice. Oh, you know what? And at that time too, I was working as a, what was it even called? Okay, I worked for this marketing firm in New York City, and my job, a friend of mine got me this job. I was just like, again, I was hurting for money, and I needed to be doing something else or more, and so I got this job, and it was like, what was it called? I started a company after that called Blog Reach Solutions. I had a website, the whole deal. I had a whole thing going on. But anyway, the job was, you get a list of influencers, and at the time, this was years ago, and at the time, bloggers were just huge. And so the job was to contact these bloggers about whatever it was, some product or some movie or something, and try to get them to post about it. And you know, it was all online. You didn't have to go anywhere, and it was fairly easy, and I had pretty good stats for some reason. I don't know why, but it was just a lot of emailing and following up. And I just used the same sort of format and formula I used to use when I was booking the band. I was just relentless about following up. Basically, you were going to give us a gig, or I was going to call you until the day you died. So you might as well give us a gig. And this was, I used sort of the same thing. I just followed up forever until they did what I wanted them to do. But that was a really weird job. I can't remember the company. I can't remember what the company was called. Anyway, I don't know how I got there, but that was a strange one. I was telling my daughter the other day, I did like a full resume of every job I've ever had in my life, and I need to find that because it was pretty funny. I've had some messed up jobs in my time. But my favorite job is no job at all. I have absolutely no career ambition whatsoever. I wanted to be a rock star. I failed at that, and that was the only thing I wanted to do. I don't care about a career, whatever. I just want to make enough money to be semi-comfortable, and I don't want to answer to anyone about anything. That's not so much to ask, is it? Speaking of ABBA, one of my all-time favorite bands in the world, and SOS is in my top 3 pop songs of all time. Dream Police is another perfect pop song. There's a couple more. Anyway, there's an ABBA museum in Stockholm, and my youngest daughter got into this study abroad thing in Gothenburg, Sweden for this summer, and Team G is going to go visit her, and then we're going to take a train to Stockholm from Gothenburg, and I have already bought the tickets to the ABBA Museum. I am so excited. I'm so excited. I really thought they were going to tour. Like they put out a record. They're old as shit now, but they put out a record like a year ago, something like that, not long ago. And I thought for sure they were going to do a worldwide tour, and I knew that I was going to go there to see ABBA live in concert. Oh my God, how awesome would that be? I'm sorry, man. I know ABBA. I know you probably think they're cheesy. I don't care. They write the greatest songs. They've written some of the greatest songs of all time. So catchy, great melodies, amazing production, amazing arrangements. I mean, just so good. ABBA dudes. ABBA is cool. My band used to play Dancing Queen as an encore sometimes. We had a lot of covers like that we'd do for encores. What was the other one? Dexy's Midnight Runners, Come On Eileen. That was a big one. Matchstick Men by Status Quo. That was one. Walrus by the Beatles. That was one. Baker Street. Remember that song? Then you did Baker Street. Jerry Rafferty, I think, maybe. Children of the Sun. Remember that one? I can't remember who did that. What else? Oh man, there were tons of them. We did a Cars medley. We did a Who medley. We did a Queen medley. What else? Oh, Joy Division. No, not Joy Division. Peter Murphy. What's his big song? Cut You Up. We did that because we had a cello player. Oh my God, there's so many more that I can't remember. And actually, when Tony and I were talking about the Iggy Pop thing, then somehow Heidi, our old cello player, she texted me out of the blue. I haven't talked to her in a long time, and she's like, she's in the symphony in Columbia. She's a cellist, and they were doing the Shostakovich piece, and she sent it to me, and she's like, dude, do you remember this? Because they played it way back when the band was going too. And she's like, I'm so into this. I forget which symphony it is, but anyway, she's like, I'm so into this, and back then when we played it, I played it for you, and I'm pretty sure that you wrote this song called Pile of Little Arms. I don't know if it was based on something in the song, in the symphony, or just like inspired by. I don't remember that. I don't remember that at all. But I did find Pile of Little Arms. I don't hear anything in the symphony that sounds like Pile of Little Arms, but I'll put a link to that song in the description. It was kind of an evil little song. And we, the only recording of it is a recording we did at this place in Charlotte. What was it called? White Room, with my buddy Conrad Hunter. And there's a red, white, and blue guitar in my office that maybe you've seen. He gave me that when we recorded our first record. And then before we went to Memphis to record our Atlantic record, we did demos at his place. And that's the only recording of that song. It didn't make the Atlantic record. But I had kind of forgotten about it, and it was I like it. I mean, the demo is not pro, it's just a demo, but it's pretty good. I'll put a link to it. And then she said that there was this other song called Slimy Pond that she was remembering. And she said it was about how back in the day, Columbia, where we lived, was very incestuous, just like people dating each other in an incestuous way. And so there was a song called Slimy Pond, but she can't hum it to me. She can't, there's no record of it. And I don't think she even remembers how it went, but anyway. Gone forever. So sad. So sad. I'm not a huge fan of the beach. I'd much rather be in the mountains, but my wife loves the beach. And Pawleys Island is pretty cool, I must say. And we're now on Pawleys Island. I don't know, dudes. This was pretty boring. I'm gonna try to use the music to make it interesting. I don't know if that's gonna work. But it's kind of a boring ride. South Carolina, I don't know. South Carolina is no North Carolina. Let's just say that. I don't mean to be disrespectful, South Carolina, but you're not as cool as North Carolina. That's just how it is. That's how it's always been, and that's likely how it always will be. There she is up there, the Atlantic Ocean. Lovely. I gotta say, South Carolina does have a good coastline. That's truth. What's up, dudes? We've been here a couple days now, and I forgot to film the most funny and stupid thing of the trip so far. So I got here on the Goldwing, right? And they redid their driveway. And so let me just go down there and I'll show you. I came down here, but they're redoing their driveway, so they have it blocked off. So I was like, let me go up here and see if there's another way to get in the garage. Look at this, it's right on the beach. Insane. And I came up here, and then I'm like, oh shit, this is getting deep. And then I got up here, and I'm like, there's not gonna be a way to get in the garage. I thought maybe if I went back there, but there's not. And then right about here, I just got completely buried. Buried. And I was like, what the hell am I gonna do? So I like scavenged for little pieces of wood and rocks and all kinds of stuff, tried to dig myself out. But basically, I was just like freaking out trying to get dug out before Jen got here because I knew she would just laugh at me. And she got here and she just laughed at me. I mean, you do not take a 900-pound bike into any sort of sand. That is just the stupidest. What was I thinking? So I had to call a tow company, and they laughed at me on the phone because I'm like, and then they got here and they laughed at me in person. But they were bike dudes, so they were kind of cool actually. They knew how to get it out. They just tied a cable around it and towed me, and I like tried to keep it upright. I should have filmed all this because it was very funny. But I was kind of flustered and just trying to get it out of there. Because I had also gone, there's a little sign that says foot traffic only after this point, and I had gone a little bit beyond that. And Pawleys Island, the cops are not kidding. Like if you park in the sort of public beach parking, and your tire is on the road still, they'll give you a ticket. So anyway, the tow truck driver guy, it was him and his friend, and his friend went and kept the cops. There's one cop that like cruises the island, and supposedly he kept the cop busy so he didn't see me there, because he's like, they'll give you a ticket for having a motorized vehicle where it is. So that was fun. And it was just so stupid. And but they gave me a good deal. I paid them cash. And also the guy invited us to go to Suck Bang Blow, which is a biker bar up the street. And he said it's the annual Walk of Shame. And as far as I can tell, it's like a competition where women compete to get jobs there, like as bartenders and whatever. I'm not exactly sure. But he said if your wife's the jealous type, don't bring her because there's going to be lots of strippers. I'm not really sure what that means, but anyway. So now I'm going to try and convince everyone to go to that thing on Saturday. And obviously the biker bar thing, the name of it, Suck Bang Blow, is a combustion engine reference and a double entendre. Very clever, very clever. And it just sounds ridiculous, and it would probably be some great people watching, and I won't be able to convince anyone to go, but I'll try anyway. And this is where we're staying. Her brothers and her mom have this company. I think I already said that it's like a real estate thing. They buy properties and rent them out, fix them up, rent them out, and they are just killing it, man. I mean, how they got this place, I have no idea. It's amazing. Total freaking mansion right on the beach. Just insanity. And it's cool that we get to stay here, man. So cool. And that's all I got, really. I just wanted to tell you about my stupidity out there. What's up, dudes? So our trip is over. Had a nice time with Johnny Powell and his wife Libation, and old friends Dan and Joel. Very cool. Pawleys Island is nice, man. We had good weather, although it's raining now. And I think I might be in for some rain throughout the way home, which is kind of a bummer. And that's all I got to report, really. The Goldwing is a mile eater beast, and I'm psyched for the ride home, although I wish it was a little more scenic. South Carolina is a bummer. I mean it's pretty, but I don't know, it's just kind of boring. And I'm definitely taking the highway home because I got some shite to do. And Jen and I, like, we'd be sitting in the rocking chairs on the porch looking at the ocean, and we're like, dude, why can't this just be it? And it can't be it because we can't afford for it to be it, but it really would be nice. We're in Georgetown. I remember doing a Just Say No show. Oh my God, have I must have mentioned this part of my life, but I was a marionette operator for a while at a marionette theater. Dude, I've had some messed up jobs. But anyway, they would get grants from the state of South Carolina to do these Just Say No shows that they sent out to schools. And me and this dude, JR, who he did all the artwork for my band. He's a phenomenal artist, man. I mean, just really incredible. And I think I got a job there first, or maybe, I can't remember. Anyway, we both worked at this place, and they had a big, like, Econoline van that we'd go out and do these school tours. And, you know, we'd be out for a week or something like that, maybe. and they had these big, giant, like, head costumes. There was a mad scientist who was like the hero of the show. And then there was this evil guy, like, totally from, like the bad guy from, what's the one with the Mountie, the Canadian Mountie? I've talked about this before too, this guy, Snidely Sidewinder or something like that. Anyway, there were those two giant costumes, and then we had marionettes as well. And it was this whole show about drugs and stuff. Oh my God, it was so nuts. Anyway, in Georgetown, we went to the school, and it was, I mean, I talk about rural and talk about poor. There were pigeons flying down the hallways, all the windows were broken. The bathroom was, I mean, beyond disgusting. And I just felt so bad for these kids, man. But they sure did love the Just Say No show. Oh my God. I used to be able to recite. It was like, I think we had a cassette, and we'd play the cassette, and that was all the voices and songs and stuff. And then we just had to do the marionettes and the characters. Oh my God, what a weird job that was. So freaking strange. Oh my God. I kind of liked it though, except for the boss was a total drag. The two bosses, mother and son team, it wasn't great, but God, what a weird job. And then the boss son guy, he was like, I can't even explain him, but before my friend JR came on, he would go with me to do the school shows, and he was total pothead, and so he'd smoke a joint before doing a Just Say No show, which I found kind of funny, to be honest. Oh God. So anyway, great trip, and of course when you get together with friends of our age, you talk about money, retirement, what's going to happen, how are we going to do it, what are the kids up to. Johnny Powell and Libby don't have kids. They have a dog named Vivian who might as well be a kid. It's a Boston Terrier with enormous amounts of personality. And it pretty much just runs their house. That's the topic of the day. Ailments didn't come up so much this time. A little bit, but not too much. That gets, you know, there's a graph, and as you get older, the conversations basically climb until there's like it levels off and all you talk about is ailments. I'm pretty sure that's coming. Maybe 65, 70, something like that, but it'll gradually increase as we get older.
Hey, please like this video if you liked this video, and if you'd like to see more, hit that subscribe button and the alert bell. Also, if you're interested, there are links to gear lists and goofy t-shirts in the description. Thanks a ton for watching.